Hello and thanks for joining us on Nationwide this Wednesday. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. The Ahmed Makarfi-led People's Democratic Party, PDP, has ratified the 10-year extension of its current National Caretaker Committee with not more than 13 persons as members for a period of 12 months. The decision followed the party's inability to conduct elections into its national offices. We will bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. The federal government has warned fraudsters using the name of President Muhammadu Buhari and those of his family members and senior government officials to solicit favor or contracts from ministries and other government establishments to desist from the criminal act or face the wrath of the law. In a statement issued in Abuja on Wednesday, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said the government is aware that some opportunists have been going from one government organization to another with notes purportedly recommending them for contracts and other patronage using the names of the president, his family members and senior government officials to intimidate those organizations. The minister said the president did not authorize any government officials to write notes recommending anyone for contracts or any form of patronage and warned those involved in such fraudulent activities to stop immediately or face possible arrest and prosecution by security agents. He also warned government officials who may be working in collusion with these men to desist from the act or face disciplinary action and prosecution for fraud. The people of Enugu State will always support the Nigerian army in its effort to ensure peace and security in the country. Governor Ifeanyi Ugwanyi said this when he received members of the House of Representatives Committee on Army. Ijoma Ugoke completes the report.
Governor Ugwanyi, while appreciating the Nigerian Armed Forces for the success it has recorded to make Nigeria safe, said it is the responsibility of government to ensure that the armed forces are equipped and motivated to tackle the various security challenges arising from the activities of criminals and antisocial elements. He commended the legislature for its support to the executive arm towards the effort to ensure peace and security in every part of the country.
The responsibility to ensure the security of lives and property of Nigerians and to rid the nation of terrorists is indeed a collective one and requires the cooperation and collaboration of all citizens and the relevant institutions.
Earlier, the chairman, House Committee on Army, Rimande Kwewum, while briefing the governor on their mission, said the House resolved that the committee should gather every information as regards to the alleged killings of people in the southeast, especially that of Onitsha on 30th May 2016. He stressed that the committee intends to hold a public hearing in a public place where people will be free to say their mind.
What we have come to do here is to actually listen to the people who were said to have been attacked. We want to hear what happened, we hear their own stories. We have a meeting with the security agencies in Nsukka to also hear from them.
The committee has carried out same tasks to other places, including Ogoniland, in Enugu, YWCA, NTA News.
And the Kano State Police Command has assured of its resolve to rid the state of kidnapping and other criminal activities. The State Commissioner of Police, Rabiu Yusuf, made the remark after a visit to the Falgore forest to assess the situation. Binta Adamu reports.
Falgore Forest is renowned for being a sanctuary for criminal elements, particularly cattle rustlers, kidnappers, and armed robbers. For several months, the army and police have raided the forest to rid these criminal gangs, but it appears that the menace would not go away. Kano state government even extended its hand of friendship to the elements by granting them amnesty, but kidnapping has continued unabated. It is with a view to tackle the menace that the new commissioner of police, Rabi Yusuf, visited the forest to re-strategize on how to lessen the problem. While assuring them of police protection, the commissioner advised them against living in dispersed settlement as it is a recipe for attacks by the bandits.
So they should partner with us, give us useful information, and they collaborate maybe with the security personnel that we deployed here. I think with that they will effectively checkmate the activity of hoodlums.
Despite police presence, the bandits still harass Arasa village of Dogwa local government area, where a life was lost, as 3 persons are still in the custody of the gangs, according to the village head, Abdullahi Suleiman.
We need additional police personnel in the area.
My grandfather was killed and they hit me on my head. My son was shot in the leg and is presently hospitalized.
The 3 local governments affected by the menace are Sumaila, Dogwa, and Tudunwada local government areas. From Falgore Forest, Bint Adamu, NTA News.
And still on security matters, 11 officers of the Nsukka prisons have been suspended following last Tuesday's jailbreak. James Okparai Kocha completes the report.
Official information is that 15 people escaped last week Tuesday between the hours of 12 midnight and 3 a.m. According to the controller of prisons Enugu State, some officers, especially those on duty at the time of the jailbreak, were accused of laxity. About 11 of them have been suspended, pending the completion of the investigation set up by the prison high command.
Caused by some security breaches, so to say, and some avoidable lapses.
Meanwhile, Enugu State Governor, who visited the prison on Thursday last week, released 1.5 million naira for immediate repairs of the prison security doors. The Nsukka prison, which like most other prisons in Nigeria, was built by the colonial masters. Most of them are accommodating far above their capacity. Up till now, we've not been able to get access into the prison, and this seems to be the story all over the place. The question then is, how will people get to know the true situation and condition of these cells where these people are, and the reasons for these jailbreaks? Right here at Nsukka prison, James Okparai Kocha, NTA News.
Nasarawa State Government is to work closely with the National Human Rights Commission to bring to book all those responsible for the killing of 2 workers during an incident between the protesting workers and security personnel in the state. Governor Umaru Tanko Al-Makura said this when he received a team of investigative panel from the National Human Rights Commission led by its Executive Secretary, Professor Bem Angwe. Joshua Ojito reports.
The Human Rights Commission led a high-powered delegation spearheaded by its Executive Secretary Bem Angwe to the State Police Command, the Nigerian Labour Congress, including the Office of the General Manager, Nasarawa Broadcasting Service. This followed a petition filed by the President of the NLC on the incident that took place on 29th of July, alleging that the police shot 2 of their members dead during the NLC President's visit to the government house Lafia. While at the Nasarawa State Police Command, the Executive Secretary expressed displeasure over the killing of workers and solicited for the cooperation of the command in unraveling the cause of the incident and assured of the command's resolve to be fair to all parties.
What we're doing is for the unity of Nigerians, it's for the unity of every citizen of this country.
The State Commissioner of Police, Abubakar Sadiq Bello, said the police will assist the Commission in getting to the root of the incident.
We as police officers, we are also human beings. We are also entitled to human rights.
The delegation later went to the Labour House and the Office of the General Manager, Nasarawa Broadcasting Service, Yusuf Musa, to ascertain what transpired during the incident in Lafia. Aliu Tijani Mohammed, NTA News.
We earlier told you that the Ahmed Makarfi-led PDP had ratified the 10-year extension of its current National Caretaker Committee with not more than 13 persons as members for a period of 12 months. A decision which followed the party's inability to conduct elections into its national offices. Here is Kingsley Amajiri with the details.
It has been a twist of unfolding drama since the early hours of Wednesday, when the Sharks Football Stadium, venue of the rescheduled PDP convention was sealed off by the Nigerian police, with the State Police Commissioner Mobolaji Odeshanya disclosing that the action was in compliance with court order.
So at the our actions were in line with court order. The police have been there. We are always everywhere. Okay, because we are always providing security everywhere. That is our primary assignment.
Moments after a long waiting, reports filtered in that the convention was holding at the Rivers State PDP Secretariat. This comes as some party leaders expressed discontent with the entire process.
This is not the hope of the founding fathers. And what we were saying, let's get the glory back, for God's sake. Get a credible opposition.
The National CTC chairman of the party, Ahmed Makrafi, who declared the convention open, reiterated that the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt gave them the right to hold the convention.
What we expected was to allow the convention to go ahead, and anybody challenging it, the appeal process is already on. And if the appeal process comes out against us, we are law-abiding citizens.
The motion for the suspension of election into the national offices of the party was moved by the House of Reps Minority Leader, Leo Ogo, and seconded by Suleiman Yahaya on behalf of all PDP chairmen. The convention also inaugurated the National Executive Committee, NEC, of the party, made up of the Board of Trustees, BOT, all state governors and state party chairmen, with only the national officers of the party.
Minister of Communication and Taxation, Jennifer, is our guide on these and more from our Lagos Network Center. Hello, Jennifer. It's over to you.
Hello, Kawa. Good to see you too. Welcome to Lagos. The federal government will provide the desirable platform where the private sector will have the opportunity to make input expected to formulate an acceptable tax regime in communications industry. The Minister of Communications, Abdurrahim Adebayo Shitu, made the remark at a forum to review the proposed communication service tax bill before the National Assembly. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
A review of the content of the Communication Service Tax Bill shows that if passed into law, 9% tax will be charged on communication services like voice calls, text messages, data services, as well as pay TV. These many analysts from the Consumer Rights Organization and service providers say will negate Nigeria's aspirations of broadband penetration.
And we project from research that we've also seen that when you tax a specific sector, over time, the revenue you generate actually shrinks.
Others fault the various assumptions of the sponsor of the bill.
The reason and the basis for coming up with 9%, I do not know. One would have thought that if you're going to start a new tax like that, in a sector that is very sensitive, it should be smaller rate than 9%.
The private sector players would like to use an investment-friendly tax environment.
After listening carefully to the submissions of the various stakeholders, the minister emphasized that Nigeria is committed to expanding its tax revenue. He, however, noted that stakeholders will be given the opportunity in reorganizing the Communications Service Tax Bill for effective revenue generation.
As a sensitive government, our duty is to listen to what people are saying. Perhaps they say things they say out of ignorance. Perhaps they say what they say out of a desire to enrich the quality of the bill. So it's important to listen to all sides. And I think by what we have heard now, I have committed myself to persuading all official stakeholders to come to the round table to discuss these issues.
Nigeria is restructuring its tax collection system and expanding its tax net for improved revenue. In Lagos, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Now, a book which illustrates steps to promoting quality leadership and understanding for improving personal and group leadership effectiveness has been presented to the public in Lagos. Titled Alphabet of Leadership, the book is written by Maxwell Oba, an organizational transformation consultant.
The Alphabet of Leadership is an essay with all the relevant elements and principles of leadership. The book discusses how to ensure effective leadership. It gives insights to leaders and aspiring leaders at all levels on how to get it right. The 220-page book presents a comprehensive definition of leadership challenges with a simple formula for improvement. It also focuses on purpose-driven leadership style, attitude, vision, communication style, decisions, and how leaders should engage followers in meaningful programs and projects. The reviewer of the book, Ife Chukuma, said now is the time to jettison old paradigms and models of leadership to give way for the new methods of doing things.
This particular book has looked at the basic principles of leadership, but has adapted the resolutions and the solutions to those problems within local content.
Author of the book, Maxwell Uba, noted that with the increasing pressure on today's leaders, there is the need to apply new skills.
I wrote this book to help today's leaders, whether as CEO, at governor's level, as the presidential level, to make adjustments in their leadership skills and leadership styles and become better and more effective in their roles.
The book is recommended for every leader and aspiring leaders, both in the private and public service.
And those are the stories from Lagos at this hour. Back to Hawa in Abuja for more nationwide news.
Many thanks, Jennifer. The Nasarawa State House of Assembly ad hoc committee investigating the 6 suspended members of the House over the misconduct that led to a fight in-house has presented its progress report on the floor of the House. Correspondent Ahmed Ondus has more.
Presenting the report, the chairman of the ad hoc committee, Mohammed Ali Kali, says there has been an appreciable progress in the investigation following the appearance of the 6 suspended members before the ad hoc committee.
This is the progress so far the committee have done, and I want to believe in the nearest future we invite the members again and we'll conclude our assignment and report to the plenary.
In his response, the Speaker of the House, Ibrahim Balaribe Abdullahi, expressed confidence in the committee's hard work and charged them to expedite action towards finding lasting solution on the issue.
To ensure that within a stipulated period of time, is able to conclude this assignment and report back to this honorable House.
Earlier, the 6 suspended members appeared before the committee, where they tendered unreserved apology over their misconduct on the floor of the Assembly that resulted in free-for-all fight April this year. During their interaction, the committee members were unanimous in their resolution that as members of the same assembly, there is always room for reconciliation whenever there is a rift in the House. One of the 6 suspended members, Mohamed Okpoku, who spoke on behalf of his colleagues, appealed for quick resolution of the issue in order to give their constituencies equal representation at the assembly. The House has, however, adjourned sitting to allow members attend parliamentary workshop. In Lafia, I am Ahmed Ondas, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has been commended for demonstrating a sincere commitment towards the socio-political transformation of the country, reflecting in the agenda of change anchored by the All Progressives Congress, APC. The Urhobo ethnic nationality in Ughelli gave the commendation in Delta State. They also praised the president for nominating one of their sons, Samuel Ajogbe, as the Executive Director Projects in the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Chairman of the Urhobo political movement urged Nigerians to give President Buhari a chance for the change agenda to thrive. And you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. National Hajj Commission introduces innovations and mechanisms for safety of pilgrims to Saudi Arabia for 2016 Hajj. Details when we return.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, Only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805-502-9637, 0803-450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers, experience catering beyond the horizon.
This is a sheer exhibition of your primitive atavistic tendency.
Any student who does not donate to my ministry will not be blessed by the ministry.
A phenomenon that defies the norm. A comedy and social satire that touches all, bears all, and shakes you up like never before.
Yeah, like after now you go say na me they talk all is about the thing where they have for this one.
Glow presents Professor John Bull, the biggest thing on your TV this season. Starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Yomi Fash Lanso, Funky Malam, Ime Bishop, Akintola, Oguz Baba, Bidemi Kosoko, Junior Pope MC for God, Stephen Odigwe, and a host of other mega stars.
Within every 12, there is a Yura.
Intellectual
Professor John Bull, every Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA International, NTA Network, and Star Time.
Over and out.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
Digital technology and information is changing the world. For our children to stay ahead and compete globally, they must evolve from being users to creators of technology. Digital Peers International, in conjunction with partners, is organizing the 16th edition of Digitest, tagged ITpreneurship, a roadmap to a sustainable future for children aged 8 to 18 years and school teachers. Dates: August 24th to September 2nd, 2016, Abuja. Kids will be taught on how to code, design and build mobile and desktop apps. For registration and participation, visit www.digitalpeers.org or call the numbers on your screen. The digital revolution has already begun. Do not allow your kids to be left out.
Do you know that the numerous challenges being experienced by the media houses pose a serious threat to the professional excellence in the media house? Jose's public and private media houses are not counting losses from the prevailing economic circumstances. These and much more will be addressed in a 2-day seminar tagged The Media in a Distressed Economy, The Way Out. Resource persons include Professor Ralph Akinfeleye, Ambassador Yemi Farombi, Dr. Tony Iradia, Alhaji Garbadin Mohammed, Mrs. Ifeinwa Omowole, Mr. Unduka Obagbena, Comrade Wahid Odusile. Date 24th to 25th August 2016. Participation fee 10,000 naira only. Venue: Center of Excellence in Multimedia Technology and Cinematography, University of Lagos, Akoka. Event will be declared open by Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. For inquiries,
formed the APC from day one with the intention of changing the direction of Nigeria. We believe Nigeria is an African power and can be a major powerhouse in world affairs. But to do that, we need to change our direction.
It can be done. This country cannot be written off. It can be done. And this country will still lead Africa. We're making steps, slow steps, moving on. I mean, it took the Americans 200 plus years to get where they are. We're moving.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's Nationwide on the NTA. The National Hajj Commission has assured Nigerians a 2016 Hajj-free Hajj operations, especially with the newly introduced innovations and mechanisms for the safety of the pilgrims. Talatu Ezerike reports that this was part of submissions on NTA's current affairs program, Tuesday Live.
It is time for the 2016 Hajj exercise, which is one of the 5 pillars of Islam that is obligatory for every adult Muslim that has a means to do so at least once in a lifetime. Analysts say a good percentage of the 76,000 intended Nigerian pilgrims have been airlifted to Saudi Arabia with tailored synergy for a hitch-free exercise that has made adequate provision for transportation, feeding and accommodation in strategic areas, and also enlightenment on prohibition of items like kola nut.
Let us be sincere, let us go and perform our Hajj for the sake of Allah. This committee will be there and will be watching to make sure that all our pilgrims deserved were provided for them.
The target program is to go by the rule of the game, obey Saudi laws, don't carry kola nuts, don't carry bitter cola, obey their laws, and restrict your movement to your facility, that is your accommodations and the holy mosque. And inshallah, in Arafat, we have big preparation for Sahara Desert Farm. The tent you are going to stay, there are going to be cooling system there.
And looking at the number of flights we are operating daily, putting the number of days we are planned to do the operation, a total of 25 days. Definitely we're going to get there before the deadline. That's an assurance.
Coming on the heels of last year's Hajj tragedies, the National Hajj Commission has introduced new innovations like the DNA test and e-wristband for safety of pilgrims.
The wristband basically is a device that has a chip in it. The entire biometrics of every pilgrim is embedded inside the wristband. You can actually press and call and you can be rescued.
In no time, the world will have no option but to learn from Nigeria how to conduct a successful Hajj operation. Because we are doing it the way that it has never been done anywhere. This handband is unique. No other nation has done this.
It is strongly believed that Nigeria will continue to stand out and receive more commendations from the Saudi authorities for Hajj-free exercises, and the general request is prayers for the nation and leaders and be law-abiding. Talatu Ezerike, NTA News.
Many thanks, Talatu. Plateau State government urges traditional rulers to scale up mediation and peace building in their communities. Details of these and more on Nationwide as we join our Jos Network Center. It's good to see you, Shehu.
Good to see you too, Hawa. Welcome to Jos. The Fulani community in the local government area experiencing acute water scarcity for years will now heave a sigh of relief as the Operation Safe Haven in Plateau State is to construct water boreholes in the area. Commander of the task force, Major General Rogers Nicholas, disclosed this as part of his consultations with communities in the state. Eric Dungs reports.
The visit to Mahanga in Riom, a predominantly Fulani community, is an ongoing process of consultations with groups, communities and youths to consolidate on the peace already achieved. Received by Aldo Adams Mahmuda, Major General Rogers Nicholas appealed to the people, especially the youth population, to eschew violence and embrace peaceful avenues of resolving conflict situations.
I'm happy to tell you that today in Mahanga,
The elder and his people have promised us that they will not find them wanting when it comes to issues of insecurity. And so the Biron people also told us. So we believe by the grace of God that we will be seeing peace, consolidating on the peace we have in Plateau.
As part of its quick intervention strategies, the commander disclosed to the delight of the inhabitants of the OPSH readiness to drill a borehole so as to tackle the perennial water challenge confronting the people.
So they complain that there's no water here, so we're going to provide them a borehole. And I've told the elder that in less than 2 weeks' time, we're going to sink a borehole here to assist the people too, as part of our own quick impact project, to also ameliorate the suffering of the people.
Abdul Adams Mahmuda, who was appreciative of the gesture, assured the security chief of harmonious existence. In Jos, Eric Dunks, NTA News.
The Plateau State government has pledged to give stronger impetus to the traditional institution to enable it to perform optimally its role of mediation and peace building. This came to the fore at the presentation of vehicles to 5 district heads of Jos South local government area. Ben Nitu has details.
Chairman, Management Committee, Jos South, Augustine Parkin, who presented the vehicles to the 5 traditional rulers, says the vehicles are to facilitate movement within their localities for prompt settlement of disputes that, when not tackled, escalate into violent conflicts.
The role of the royal fathers in the neighborhood, peace and security cannot be overstressed, and as such, the purchase of the vehicles is to reposition them for a refined efficiency in the process of conflict management and prevention.
Plateau State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Tayebu Garga, who was represented by a director in the ministry, calls for continued support of the traditional institution to the present administration's efforts at achieving the desired change. Bongom Jos, Da Jacob Janbuba, was represented on the occasion by Ata Ateng of Ganauri, Chaiman. The beneficiaries are district heads of Du, Gel, Kuru, Vang, and Zawan. In Jos, Ben Nitu, NTA News.
The National Orientation Agency has warned people living on waterways to relocate to avoid being swept away by flood. Plateau State Director of the agency, Mr. Bulus Dabit, gave the warning while sensitizing the residents of Jos and environs on the dangers of imminent flooding of some parts of the state. Bilkis Nuhu completes the story.
The sensitization campaign is coming in the wake of series of warnings by the National Meteorological Agency that people living in communities along riverbanks stand the risk of being swept by flood unless they take urgent steps to avert any disaster.
There are indications that there will be great flood. And because we live in a town that has a very big river, the river that passes through Jos, the Delimi River, has its roots from Kura Falls. And sometimes when there's big rainfall, you find that this river overflows.
Head of Disaster Management Unit, NSCDC, Mr. Moses Yakubu said, uncontrolled water can lead to serious consequences, hence the need for reduction measures to be put in place, like avoiding the dumping of refuse in drainages. Director of Rescue and Search, State Emergency Management Agency, Plateau State, Mrs. Jumi Bala, said the sensitization is very critical to residents along river plains, as it has occurred over time, and so government will not relent in raising concerns over the issue.
We have talked and talked. We will not relent. We hope that they will respond. With this awareness creation, they will relocate.
Earlier, a video clip showing the devastating effects of flood in some affected countries in recent times was shown. In Jos, Bilkis Nuhu, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Jos. Hawa is all yours now.
Thanks, Shehu. One key issue that poses a challenge to basic education managers is how to tackle the enormous number of out-of-school children in Nigeria. To this end, Executive Secretary Yubek says there is no justification to tolerate the reality on ground. Franca Uzoma Olua has the details.
With an estimated 10.5 million out-of-school children in Nigeria, these managers of basic education institutions are re-strategizing to function as a unified body in order to implement government policies in basic education. The meeting of UBEC management and chairman of SUBEBs is a wake-up call to address the numerous challenges in the sub-sector.
The worrying areas of out-of-school children, issues of teacher development, which is very crucial in sustaining the quality of basic education in Nigeria. Because if we don't develop the teacher, it becomes very difficult for us to realize the quality we are looking for.
The issue of teacher training and professional development, as well as the inability of state governments to fund basic education, formed part of deliberations.
Times are hard. Most states, as I speak today, we have been able to access 78% of the fund for major infrastructural development across the nation. And it's a continuous process.
Moreover, the fundamental principles of accountability and transparency in the utilization of government resources were also highlighted. For the Universal Basic Education Commission, building a peaceful, equitable and prosperous society begins with putting in place a responsive and inclusive education that will meet the needs of all Nigerian children. Franca Uzoma Olwa, NTA News.
Ogun State government cites to demolish structures along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Details with Daoju.
Good to see you. Good evening and welcome to Ibadan. Ogun State government says structures erected within the federal and state government's 70 meters setback along the Lagos-Ibadan highway will be demolished. This is to give way for the Ogun Green project aimed at ensuring beauty and serenity along the highway. Correspondent Lekon Agbonde says this was unfolded at the stakeholders meeting on the project held in Abuja.
The Green Ogun project, an initiative of the state governor, Ibekula Musun, according to the Commissioner for Forestry, Chief Kolawole Lawal, was to ensure judicious usage of the 50 meters setback of the federal government and 20 meters setback of the state government for beautification and make it conform with the acceptable global standard. The commissioner noted that the project will ensure clean and attractive environment through elimination of the illegal parking, high traffic congestion on the expressway.
We want to achieve sanctity on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. We want to ensure people have good life, they have a good road.
To the owners of structures, especially fuel station on the path of the setback, the State Commissioner for Urban Development and Physical Planning, Chief Adebola Adeife, said demolition is inevitable.
And you've been telling you that you didn't get any approval, of course that building or property will be demolished. If you have the approval, you may be compensated.
Federal government, corporate organizations, industries and other relevant agencies are urged to work hand in hand with the state government to ensure the success of the project in Abeokuta. Lekon Agmode, NTA News.
Christians have been urged to desist from what can bar them from eternal life. Venerable Collins Babalola of St. Anne's Anglican Church said this during the yearly Thanksgiving service of Young Women's Christian Association. Yemisi Ajagun has details.
Members of Young Women Christian Association gathered at the Thanksgiving service to appreciate God for success and protection of its members in the last 1 year. In a sermon delivered at the service, Reverend Olaniyi Faleye said, Christians may be confronted with persecutions from diverse sources, either in their work or environment. He urged all Christians, especially members of YWCA, to continue with whatever they are doing in as much as it is in line with the will of God.
Because there's a reward for anyone who endures persecution. And it is also to challenge Christians not to say because people will say this about me, people will persecute me, to now compromise.
Members speak on the vision and mission of the group.
For girls, we don't want them to be vulnerable. We want them to be on their own and be able to put something on that.
Shed light about. We tell people evangelism is our work.
The Young Christian Women Association is an interdenominational association committed to assisting the less privileged. There were special prayers for the progress of the group as members danced in appreciation of God's goodness. From Ibadan, Yemisi Ajagun, NTA News.
A museum of history of television broadcasting in Kwara State has been inaugurated. The facility is put in place to celebrate 40th anniversary of NTA Ilorin.
Television broadcasting has come a long way in Kwara State, with the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Ilorin, blazing the trail. However, another color is now added to the broadcasting endeavors of NTA Ilorin. The station set up a museum where equipment used over several decades are assembled. This will enable television broadcasters and the general public to reminisce and appreciate the history of television not only in Kwara State but also in the country at large. Starting with film and takes, various artifacts of video recording machines and linear editing consoles to cameras are displayed in the museum. A special attraction in the museum is a list of all staff of NTA Ilorin from inception to date, a list which runs to about 1,000 names. The photos of the Director General of NTA from Engineer Vincent Maduka in 1977 to the current DG, Malam Yakub Bun Muhammad, are pasted. The initiator of the project, Adetunji Majid, remarked,
"It is for us who are here today to plant today so that some people too will celebrate us tomorrow."
NTA Ilorin Museum was commissioned amidst pomp and pageantry as traditional artists entertain the guests.
The Nigerian army has reassured the nation of its determination to wipe out insurgency in the country. General Officer Commanding 2 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Kasimu Abdul Karim, stated this at the closing of the 2016 Inter-Brigade Sports Competition of the division held in Odogbo, Ibadan. Correspondent Olumide Guntala reports.
The Inter-Brigade Sports Competition was part of efforts of the Nigerian Army to be physically fit in combating security challenges and achieving their professional goals. General Officer Commanding 2 Division Nigerian Army Major General Kasimu Abdul Karim commended the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuko Buratai, for continued support to the division and the Nigerian Army as a whole, more especially on successes recorded so far over Boko Haram sets.
We have been able to defeat the Boko Haram terrorists. What the general public need is to be patient with Nigerian Army so that we can improve on the result what we have.
At the end of the competition, 2 division garrison in Ibadan emerged first with 39 gold, 22 silver and 13 bronze medals. 4th Brigade Benin came second with 22 gold, 9 silver and 3 bronze medals, while 32 Artillery Brigade from Akure was third with 17 gold, 17 silver and 13 bronze medals. Oyo State Governor Abiola Jimobi was represented at the occasion by the Commissioner for Youth and Sport, who led the team that engaged the GOC team in a novelty volleyball match. In Ibadan, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Ibadan. Hawa, it's back to you for continuation of Nationwide. Good evening.
Dauju in Ibadan. Moving to other matters now. Corruption has been identified as a key threat to development in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. This re-echoed at the 10th International Conference and General Assembly of the Society for Peace Studies and Practice. Onyinye Joshua Ifeanyi reports that the 3-day event commenced with an investiture of distinguished individuals who have fostered peace in Nigeria. Among them is Executive Director of Marketing of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Mrs. Adenike Olufadi.
The National Chairman of Society for Peace Studies and Practice, Willie Eselebo, said corruption is a key threat facing Africa as it slows down development and hinders political growth in the region.
It is obvious that consistent advocacy can bring about or reduce corruption in our society. and it can bring about transparency and accountability in government.
In her keynote address, the Professor Shola Akinrinade of the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission, ICPC, said the theme of the conference is appropriate as it is the focus of national discussions in recent times. He said corruption is an abuse of the rights of the people, stressing that no society should tolerate corruption and its perpetrators.
Corruption is antithetical to sustainable peace, including efforts at building one. On the other, common corruption is possibly correlated to building sustainable peace.
Other speakers at the occasion, among them Chairman of SPSP Delta State, Ben Okaba, Professor Isaac Olawale Albert, and Professor Sam Oyovare, expressed the view that every Nigerian should profess and practice peace, and no one should wait for any form of incentive to seek peace and a corrupt-free Nigeria. Deserving individuals including the Executive Director of Marketing, Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Adenike Olufade, we appreciated for their immense contributions to peace in the society.
Fellow of this S&P Society. Congratulations once more.
I feel very happy. Anything that has to do with peace, it's great. It makes a nation great. And I want to try and see how I can play my role, my contributions to ensuring that Nigeria is peaceful.
I feel humbled and privileged. I've always been a woman of peace. My resolve will be to continue to be an ambassador of peace wherever I find myself and to work for peace.
Declaring the event open, representative of the governor, Mr. Reginald Bayoko, said sustainable peace is essential to development. In Asaba, Onye Joshua Ifeanyi, NTA News.
The agitation by nutritionists for the extension of the current maternity leave from 4 to 6 months will provide adequate and enabling environment for effective breastfeeding of babies. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense, Ambassador Danjuma Shani, represented by the head Medical Services in the Ministry, Dr. Oluwatoyin Akinlade, said this at the flag-off of the 2016 Breastfeeding and Nutrition Week organized by the Ministry of Defense. Ismail Musa was at the Mogadishu cantonment in Abuja.
From the World Health Organization, WHO, revealed that breast milk contains all the essential nutrients required by babies and the desired antibodies that help infants to fight virus and enhance their physical and rapid mental development.
Normally, every country celebrates the World Breastfeeding Week. The whole idea is to increase the numbers of women who are exclusively breastfeeding their babies.
It is in realization of these benefits that this platform is organized to extend the crusade for exclusive breastfeeding to mothers in barracks across the country.
Nowadays, women are breastfeeding less and less. But I feel they should be encouraged to breastfeed more because medically now it's been proven that early breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding in the early stages of life prevents the child from having serious diseases.
After 6 months, by 6 months, you introduce, other food we eat in the family. We don't encourage like protein. We make sure that the child gets from the 4 classes of food.
The forum also appealed to the federal, state Ministry of Health, and other nutrition partners to always extend breastfeeding campaigns to barracks. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And our Kaduna Network Center is next on the lineup.
Much Hawa, and welcome to Kaduna. The federal government has reiterated its commitment to improved maternal and child health care through partnership with state ministries of health. Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, indicated this at a maternal and child care workshop in Kaduna. Ahmad Muhammad Usman reports.
Federal government to improve maternal and child health, focusing on the rural health sector plays in reducing maternal newborn deaths and also improving child nutrition, among others.
Many things can be better done in an efficient manner at the state level than at the federal level. So we'll partner with them, but what we will not lose sight of is the need to have a thorough oversight to monitor how the funds are used And this is the essence of this workshop.
In the last few years, we have realized that huge resources have been invested in healthcare, both at the federal and state level. But we realize that the results are not commensurate, really, to the investment that we have made.
Governor Nasir Ahmad El-Rufai was among the dignitaries that graced the occasion.
Therefore, call on the federal government to support the states to mainstream the National Health Insurance Scheme such that every Nigerian, no matter how poor, no matter how vulnerable, will have access to healthcare and will be able to go with confidence to a health facility and get medical attention.
The program had participation by commissioners of health from Northwest Zone. Some of them have this to say.
And we're going to do this to reduce maternal and child mortality and morbidity in the state.
We are going to make sure that every ward, that's political ward in the state, has a functioning primary health care center. By the way of being that primary health care center, working 24 hours, having full complement of staff.
The program is aimed at facilitating general improvement in maternal and child health. In Kaduna, Ahmad Muhammad Usman, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force says it will continue to accord serious attention to training of its personnel to guarantee their physical and mental alertness. Air Officer Commanding Training Command Air Vice Marshal Nuruddin Abiodun Balogun gave this indication in a message to a 10-kilometer route march exercise for officers, airmen and women under the command in Kaduna. Muhammad Lol Baba has the details.
Flagging of the exercise, Air Officer Commanding Training Command Air Vice Marshal Nuruddin Balogun, represented by Senior Air Staff Officer Air Commodore Remigius Nnaji AK, said the exercise is meant to sustain physical fitness among personnel for attainment of Nigerian Air Force statutory objectives.
The Chief of the Air Staff has come up with most of these activities. He has revived this route march quarterly. He has revived the annual fitness test. We have the 10-kilometer walk jog, which we witnessed the last time. And all these are efforts by the administration to ensure that we keep fit.
He reminded the participants of the need to make regular exercise as a way of life, as it is key to maintaining sound health and successful career in the force.
We should leverage on these facilities to ensure that we keep fit, because there is no alternative to keeping fit. When you train more in peacetime, you bleed less in wartime.
Air Vice Marshal Balogun reiterated the need for continued training in an effort in addressing internal security challenges and territorial integrity of the nation. In Kaduna, Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
And that will be all from our Kaduna Network Center. And on the global scene, let's now join Ronke Kolawole with the tidbits.
The Democratic Republic of Congo and Angola have commenced emergency vaccination campaigns to curb yellow fever epidemic, which has claimed hundreds of lives since the beginning of this year. At least 14 million people are to be vaccinated in collaboration with World Health Organization and other partners like Doctors Without Borders. On energy matters, South Sudanese government is inviting investors to tap into its oil sector and give assurance of security, especially now that the country enjoys stability and peace in the oil-rich areas. Meanwhile, South Sudan plans to export diesel and petrol to Ethiopia to seize the opportunity of its large market in that country. In Uganda, 9 soldiers have been jailed between 1 and 3 years by the military court city in Mogadishu for misconduct and violating peacekeeping rules and regulations while serving under the African Union peacekeeping force in Somalia. And in Turkey, 38,000 prisoners jailed before last month's failed coup are to be released conditionally now that the prisons are crowded with about 23,000 suspects detained or arrested since the July coup attempt. For Global Tidbits, Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
And for sports updates, it's over to Ayodeji Makinde.